Hi everyone, this is Miles from VRDuelersBlog.com, and we have here today the HTC Flyer for its full review. So first off, we'll start off with the design. I already covered it in my first impressions video, but it's always good to refresh in reviews. So first off with the back, we have an aluminum kind of unibody-ish design here. Stereo speakers, they sound pretty good. It's not like an afterthought like I've seen on some other tablets I've tried out. We have the HTC logo in the center there. Some people have said it kind of detracts from the appearance, but I mean, with the iPad you have the Apple logo there. I mean, and the HTC logo is, I mean, it's not. It's really down to a matter of opinion, whether you like that or not. Personally, I think it's pretty good, but it's not something that would decide the purchase, obviously. This has HTC Sense, which I believe is 2.1, possibly 3. We'll get to that later. We have the charging and USB port for data transfers. The camera on the back, that's 5 megapixels. On the top here, we have the headphone port and the power button. And on the right side, and from the perspective of portrait view, we have the volume rocker and stereo microphones. Before we go on, I'll make a kind of comment that I noticed about the microphones. If you're holding this in portrait mode and recording something, it is really easy to just drown out everything you're saying. If you just have your thumb down here over the one of the microphones, it's pretty much just the effect, obviously, you get in high wind when just something's blowing into the microphone. Okay, yeah, so let's jump right in here. First thing you notice is that it has a updated weather app using AccuWeather, I believe. I personally like it. The animation can kind of make the home screen lag a little bit when it's still going on when you first turn it on. But I mean, it looks good enough so that I don't care, and honestly, the half second that it's doing that for isn't really going to make much of a difference. Also on the home screen, we have some customizable shortcuts here where you can drag the ring, which is the unlock tool, similar to the thing you pull down on Android phones in the original sense. So if you want to launch something directly from here, you can. Well, maybe I disabled that, but you can usually drag it over the icon and just launch it directly from there. Next up, as you can see, we have the Sense interface right away here. We have 3 customizable shortcuts there. Some have said that it's kind of a shame that they didn't have more than that, but I mean, I can see more if it's primarily used in portrait mode, since there'd be a lot more room for it. But just landscape view. In portrait view, there's really, unless you make them a lot smaller than that, there's no room to have any others. We of course have the personalized screen. You can do change the scene, change the skin, wallpaper, lock screen, the widgets, apps, shortcuts, folders, and then the sound set and notification settings. Yeah, so next up we have the app tray. They changed it I think for a honeycomb-ish layout. It reminds me of that to a certain extent, in that they have multiple panes of it that you can switch between to filter. Downloaded and favorites, frequent. So yeah, downloaded and frequent, and just all of the apps. They also have the screens that you switch between instead of just a smooth scrolling. Now, in terms of software, the HTC Flyer is built on top of Gingerbread, which is Android 2.3. People have complained again that it's not Honeycomb, but I think Sense did a pretty good job of making it more than just a upscaled phone experience on this. Another thing you can see is that they changed the notification drop-down menu here. They have, again, kind of shortcuts at the top. I think that's, yeah, that looks like the recently opened. So they have the recently opened at the top there of the notifications window. Then, of course, the notifications themselves, which would be there. And then they have a kind of cool tab interface here with quick settings where you can change the brightness, change it to auto brightness, auto rotation. That's a really nice thing to have in lieu of an actual physical button on the side, a switch that you can lock the screen with. Then, of course, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a link to all of the settings. Now, also, back to hardware a little bit. The front-facing camera here is, I believe, 2 megapixels, and of course the light sensor is right next to it, along with an LED, to let you know when the webcam is active, as you can see right there. We'll get back to that in a few minutes, but first off, I think we should take a look at the keyboard. Now, of course, you can customize keyboards, but it can help to have just a good start-out keyboard and make your product more popular if you do. For the people who either don't know that they can change keyboards or don't know how, or any of that kind of combination. As for the ease of typing, it's very nice to thumb type with this. It's a 7-inch screens are perfect for that. I've said in the past that 7-inch screens are not my favorite, and I'm still standing by that. Because yes, you can fit something like this in your pocket, but if it doesn't feel ridiculous, it's going to look ridiculous. So if that's the case, then the way I see it, why not just get a bigger screen? That being said, it is a nice tablet, as I hope to be demonstrating with this. Yeah, so the keyboard in portrait view is absolutely perfect for thumb typing. In landscape, it's kind of an awkward in-between area, because it's not big enough for touch typing like a 10-inch tablet is, and it's kind of a stretch if you want to thumb type at sometimes. So it's alright, but it is at that awkward in-between area between keyboard sizes. Now, another thing that people have said is that the browser is laggy. Now, this might have been a firmware issue, but I mean, this is about a week or so after release, and I haven't updated this since I opened the box last Friday. So I don't think that it can be a firmware issue. So I'm not really seeing where the reviews come from that say it's a slow browser, but personally I found it really fast loading, definitely equaling browsers on Honeycomb tablets I've tried out. Okay, yeah. Okay, so back to the camera. It's a pretty nice camera. It focuses pretty well, and once it can be a little shaky once it does, but it has pretty good performance. Now, what I did notice is that in some light, it can take a while to I mean, with pretty much any digital camera, in some lighting conditions, you're going to have just times when the screen doesn't adjust in real time to panning around, like you can see here. Something that was cool, though, is the effects that HTC bundles with this. You have distortion, where you can move this around. It's kind of similar to Apple's photo booth, and it can be pretty fun to play around with, as anybody who's tried that out definitely knows. And for all of the effects, I believe they have the slider to just change how that works, change how much the effect is emphasized. Now, the depth of field feature was interesting in that it's not that the camera can do depth of field very well, it's that it just does a blur effect to everything outside the circle. So you can achieve the same effect without actually having a camera that can achieve that. And I thought that was a pretty nice feature, and since it's a pretty nice camera, you can definitely get into some cool photography with that. And you can just see some other modes here. And of course the webcam, you can also do any of those distortion effects. Very, very fun to play around with. Now we get to the feature that this tablet really stands out with. The Magic Pen, as HTC calls it, costs $80 if you buy this at a Best Buy store, I believe, from online, from pretty much, yeah, I mean, online. I think if you buy the 4G version from Sprint, which is actually the HTC View, because they like to change the names for some reason, then this will be bundled with it. But yes, otherwise, at the store, I believe it's $80. And yes, that's ridiculous, but it is a nice piece of technology. I mean, anybody who's ordered like something like this off of eBay or Amazon, which is a capacitive stylus, sure, it works, but it's not the best experience. You kind of have to press hard with it, and when you press hard on the screen, since it's a rubberized tip, whoever's brilliant idea that was, it just drags on the screen. You can't use it very easily. It's not accurate. And that's in addition to capacitive screens just not really being meant for this kind of stylus work. Resistive screens, up until this kind of technology and Wacom tablet technology, is, yeah, I mean, resistive has always been better for doing handwriting and drawing than capacitive screens. Not to say you can't do it, it's just more accurate. Anyway, yes, I haven't had a chance to look up what technology HTC uses for this, but since I noticed that you don't have to quite have it touching the screen at sometimes to use it, I believe it's some kind of magnetic field technology, like in the Wacom Bamboo series. Anyway, yeah, so we'll check out the Notes application first. Something that you should note is that this will not let you navigate around the screen. You can draw with it in supported apps, but you can't, for instance, do this kind of thing with it. Or else it'll bring up the scribble screen, which is pretty much just taking a screenshot, letting you draw on it. Again, we'll get back to that after the Notes app. Yeah, so this makes it really nice to draw. You have a dedicated pen button here, which can only be activated by the pen. You can expand it to have colors, brush selection, and brush size, as well as the compact view, where you can just erase things. So yes, I'll show you the pencil tool here. And yeah, my handwriting's a little messed up, but that's because of the awkward angle with the camera. But anyway, it's really responsive. Yes, there is a little bit of lag, but it's definitely better than using a capacitive stylus like this to try to achieve the same effect with drawing apps. Um, and of course, like I said, you can change the color at any point you want. And you don't have to press hard at all. It's a plastic tip, and it's pressure sensitive, as you can see here. So that's a really cool feature. Also with, I believe, yeah, it's the upper pen button here that you can press and hold down if you want to erase things. Something that would have been nice for them to include is a feature that lets you erase with the other end of the pen, like that, like a regular pencil. But yeah, sadly they don't have that. But still, it's a conveniently placed buttons. It's easy to do. The other button on the pen is the selection tool, and if I can bring up some text here. Or not in this mode, but what the lower button lets you do is select and highlight text. It's a useful feature. In addition to all that stuff, scribbling and note-taking, you can do the same thing in books. So, yeah, if you don't like books, you can scribble all over them. If you do, you can use it to take notes for your textbooks. Anything that you can get on here, you can, in the Reader app, you can draw on. And, yeah, really great feature. And another look here at the weather app. You can see that it has a lot of different animations, sunny, cloudy, all that kind of stuff. It's a really beautiful app. And of course the expanded view here for temperatures and extended forecasts. So basically the HTC tablet, the Flyer tablet, I really like it. Again, 7 inches is my favorite, but if you're somebody who either needs to draw on a tablet or just is intrigued by the idea and wants a pretty good tablet to use, I would definitely recommend this. However, if you don't need one immediately, I think HTC might be coming out with some more tablets in the future, relatively soon this year, I believe, actually. And they, I think, will be running Honeycomb. But again, this is a nice tablet, nice build quality. I really enjoyed using it. A quick overview of the specs before we stop that. I don't believe I did that at the beginning. The processor is single core, but it makes up for that by being 1.5 gigahertz. So that's nice. Instead of like a 1 gigahertz dual core, you get a single core 1.5. I didn't find any significant amount of lag at any point. The resolution is 1024 by 600. It's not an LED screen, it's TFT, but it definitely looks nice. Colors are pretty vibrant. Again, rear camera is 5 megapixels, front is 2 megapixels. It has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. The Sprint, the view from Sprint has 4G, obviously. Yeah, and the audio is pretty nice considering how small the speakers are. So, I believe 500 for the tablet and 80 for the pen if you buy the Wi-Fi only from somewhere like Best Buy. And final thoughts, the pen feature is definitely what separates this thing from other tablets. If you picked one of these up, I don't see why anybody would get one without the pen. It was, even though I didn't expect to be using it that much, it was the thing I kept coming back to. It's really fun to draw on this thing. And yeah, I enjoyed using it. I'll have the full written review in a day or two on the blog. And hopefully that will be more eloquent than the video review. where I can actually have long thought out observations about it. So until then, this has been Miles from VR Doors blog with a full review of the HTC Flyer.